I will. I'll save some time. Mr. President.
Senator from Iowa.
Mr. President. Mr. President, I thank the Chair's indulgence for permitting me perhaps to say something that only a few people understood. But I wanted to do that as sort of a special way of thanking a very special person in my life who taught me at a very early age that people with disabilities could do anything that they set their minds to do, and that people should be judged on the basis of their abilities and not on the basis of their disabilities. In sign language, I just wanted to say to my brother Frank that today was my proudest day in 16 years in Congress. That today Congress opens the doors to all Americans with disabilities. That today we say no to fear, that we say no to ignorance, and that we say no to prejudice. The ADA is indeed the 20th century Emancipation Proclamation for all Americans with disabilities. Today, the U.S. Senate will say to all Americans that the days of segregation and inequality are over. And as I said, by your winning your full civil rights, you strengthen ours. And I thanked all senators for their help in passing ADA today. The ADA is, without exaggeration, Mr. President, the most critical legislation affecting people with disabilities ever considered by the Congress. The conference report before us today is a result of extensive scrutiny, debate, and compromise, involving members of Congress, the administration, the disability community, and the business community. As a result, the conferees had little difficulty reaching an agreement. Yesterday, the House passed the conference report by an overwhelming vote of 377 to 27. I would just point out the conference report adopts verbatim the instruction on congressional coverage proposed by Senator Ford and the instruction on food handlers proposed by Senator Hatch, both of which were adopted overwhelmingly by the Senate. Within a few weeks, the ADA will become the law of the land because of the vision of the disability community. You knew in your hearts what we now write into law, that discrimination based on fear, ignorance, prejudice is wrong. It is true that I am the sponsor of the ADA and my colleagues are co-sponsors. However, the ADA is first and foremost the outcome of the extraordinary efforts of the disability community. This is your bill, and you earned it. You fought together as a community, singing in the streets that people united will never be defeated. From Justin Dart, the chair of the President's Committee on Employment of People with Disabilities, To Danny Piper, a 19-year-old from Ankeny, Iowa, who wants to live a proud and independent life, I say that ADA is a reality because of your efforts. To my friend Dennis Murray, the former Associate Advocacy Director of the Paralyzed Veterans of America, who passed away late last year, I say you would be proud of what your friends have accomplished. On Wednesday, I thank Senators Kennedy, Hatch, and Durenberger for their efforts on this bill, and they truly were special. And I say it again, without the dogged leadership of the distinguished chairman of our committee, Senator Kennedy, we would not be here today. Without the total, heartfelt involvement of my friend from Utah, Senator Hatch, who was with us every step of the way, working to ensure that we had a bill that could pass, to make sure that we had a bill that was fair and meaningful, I say to Senator Hatch my heartfelt and deepest thanks. To Senator Durenberger, who did a year and a half ago, I don't think he knew what he was getting into on this bill, but for a year and a half, we marched side by side together to make sure that this bill became a reality today. And again, my deepest thanks to my friend and neighbor from Minnesota. To Senator McCain, as I said, thanks for his efforts for making the telecommunications title of the bill a reality. And also the efforts of Senator Dole, not only this year, but for all of the years, and his leadership for people with disabilities. I want to thank Congressman Steny Hoyer on the House side. But I also want to thank two people who are not here. I want to recognize and thank former Senator Lowell Weicker, my predecessor as chairman of the Disability Committee, and Congressman Tony Coelho of the House side. They are the original sponsors of the ADA. They are true champions of all disabled people. The ADA was also the result of the efforts of our staffs, and I want to give special recognition to Bobby Silverstein and Katie Bay of my staff. Perhaps now their families will see a little bit more of them after this long year that they've been working on this bill. Carolyn Oselenik and Mike Iskowitz of Senator Kennedy's staff, Mark Dissler, Chris Lord, Nancy Tater, Chris Iverson, and Steve Settle of Senator Hatch's staff, Carolyn Boos of Senator Durenberger's staff, Mark Busey of Senator McCain's staff, and Melissa Schulman of Congressman Hoyer's. All of these people played crucial roles. In closing, Mr. President, I want to make a dedication. All across our nation, mothers are giving birth to infants with disabilities. So I want to dedicate the Americans with Disabilities Act to these, the next generation of children and their parents. With the passage of the ADA, we as a society make a pledge that every child with a disability will have the opportunity to maximize his or her potential to live proud, productive, and prosperous lives in the mainstream of our society. We love you all and welcome you into the world. We look forward to becoming your friends, your neighbors, and your co-workers. We say whatever you decide is your goal, go for it. The doors are open and the barriers are coming down. I was asked yesterday to try to put into words exactly what the ADA meant, and I recalled meeting with Danette Crawford in Des Moines a few months ago. She's a young girl, 14 years old, has severe cerebral palsy, one of the brightest young persons I've ever met, working on her computer at home, absolutely brilliant. And I was talking to her about the ADA and what it would mean to her in terms of jobs, educational opportunity, being able to go out on her own, that she wouldn't be discriminated against in the workplace. She listened to all this and she said, you know, she said in her own way, she said, that's all very nice and that's very important. But she said, all I want to do is just be able to go out and buy a pair of shoes like anybody else. That really is what ADA is about. It's letting people live like anyone else, opening the doors, breaking down the barriers, so that all Americans, regardless of their disability or abilities, are treated fairly and decently as co-equal in all aspects of American life. Mr. President, I urge the adoption of the conference report of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Mr. President.
Majority Leader is recognized.
Mr. President, this is important, indeed historic legislation and I urge each member of the Senate to support